Good morning, guys. Unfrequented world. I couldn't sleep. It's 6 o'clock. Yesterday, I found what I believe to be a 1943 American copper penny. There seems to be some debate online. Some people say, hey, great, congratulations. Other people say it's a fake. It's, somebody took an 8 and rubbed it down. That's incredible nonsense. This thing was found in a rural field that was donated to a Northern Ontario municipality in 1892 and was a schoolyard for the past 150 years. So I guess it would be 120 years, whatever. There's no way that somebody tried to rub an 8 into a 3 and then placed it in this field or used it because it was there so long. It has the nice green patina of a coin that's been in the ground 70, 80 years. I found it. I know it's legit. Whether it's a 43 or not, that's up for debate. What we have to do is investigate this a little bit. The first thing I'm going to do is show you guys that A, it doesn't stick to a magnet. Then B, I want to take a better camera today. I've got my A7R3, which is a 42 megapixel camera. I'm actually going to mount it on a tripod, inverted, like this, and we're going to do some high resolution photography. Yesterday when I got home, I took macro photos of the coin, but it's still been drying out and it's changing as it dries out. What this is going to allow me to do, if I mount this on the tripod and use a timer, I can take a light source, a really strong light source, and shine it all the way around the coin. And that might show us a little more detail. Also, the images yesterday, what's causing the confusion is I traced 1943 on the coin just to show people in the video, here's the numbers, here is what it looks like. Well, there was crud and whatever else, and I traced over. So the bottom of the 3 looks like it curls up. I believe that's crud. And I didn't look at what a 1943, the 3 looks like. I just wanted to show people, hey, look at these numbers. I shouldn't have done that. Okay, so I'm just out in the garage here. This is a magnet. And I've got the coin in question. Let's see what it looks like today. Yeah, still you can see the 19 much better today now that it's dried out overnight. Okay, I'm just going to pass the magnet over the coin. Nothing. Okay, it is a magnet. That's just to show you it is a magnet. So the coin is copper. So here's the setup. Macro lens inverted on the A7R3, which is a 42 megapixel camera. That should give us more resolution. And today that allows me to put a strong light source and I can work it all the way around and just see if we can get some more detail on the coin by using that light source. And in thousands of coins, I've never seen an 8 that's been half worn off. Not saying it couldn't be something else, but let's try to get to the bottom of it. I'm just really optimistic that this is a 43. When I pulled it out of the ground and you could see the original video clip, you could clearly read 1943. You can see it right there, 1943. Did Gary just hit the jackpot? Okay, here we are in the computer, and I've taken a whole bunch of these shots. The first one and the best one I think we're going to look at is the last one I took here. And we're going to try some different filters and whatnot on here. Let's just take a look and see what we can see. Let's extract some detail. Is that going to help us? I don't know. Okay, let's just do it. First thing we should do is let's turn this image black and white. Does this help us decipher anything? It's so corroded. Okay, I think I can see it, guys. That right there is the tip of the 3 coming down. Is that correct? Would that be correct? It looks like the end of a number right there. That being said, this kind of concerns me. What is all of this junk here? Could this been
an 8 that came up around. So this right here is what I'm looking at as the tip of the 3. So what I want to actually show you guys, what I was looking at yesterday, when I traced this 3, I went like this. And I followed this chunk of crud up. And so this is what is causing the problem. Everyone's saying, well, the 3 shouldn't curl up like that. Well, I don't think it does. I think this chunk of crud right here threw me off. So when I traced that, I just traced up. But if we look now that we've got this black and white, I think there's definitely a beginning and an end to this number 3. And I think it's right here. If you look right here, you'll see that there's definitely an edge of a number, like the beginning of a 3 right there. The top of the 3. So it goes there, it comes around here. So if we just trace it, it comes around here, like this. And there, right here, is the bottom of the 3. And it ends right there. That's what I was looking at yesterday. And I believe that is correct. This is just extra crap. If we look right here again, there's a clear defined end. This is what's throwing everyone off. Now it is a little concerning. What is that? But I think that is just the top of the coin, because look, we've got a great big valley here. This chunk has all been removed. But that is clearly the edge of the 3. I'm now more excited than ever, and that is clearly the beginning of the top. If this was an 8, you wouldn't have that line there. It would continue on through, you know, whatever the 8 looked like, which, I mean, this kind of could fall into that pattern, but I think that right there, we're seeing the tip. Just this portion right here, we are seeing the clear tip of that 3 poking out from under the crud. Can you guys see that? Okay, so I've pulled up an image of an actual 1943, and we can see now the 4 doesn't come down here. This is not part of the 4. And if we zoom in, this square right here is the bottom of the 4. So the 4 is actually, the 4 is very tiny, and it's right here. Oops. So the 4 is actually much smaller, and it's right here. And it goes right to there. I see the tip of the 4 right there. I see the tip of the 9 there and the 1. So these kind of come up. The 9 and the 1 go a little bit above the line. But I think that's corrosion. So there's your 4 right there. Now this 3, is it just because I scraped it off? But it looks lower. You know, if that's the tip there, I mean, we could just be missing. Let's take a look at an 8, 1948. Is the 8 lower than the other numbers? All right, I'm looking at this again right now. I'm looking at this 3 and I'm like, something isn't right. If we take this line and we go to the bottom and we line up at the bottom of the 3 right here, because I am positive that is the bottom of the 3. It's clearly defined. Then the top sticks way out to the left. But if we do that on this coin here, we see that it only sticks out to the left a little bit. Well, what happens if we zoom in here? You see this point right here, guys? I think this is a nodule as well on the end of the 3. But there's a point right here. I think this is actually the beginning of the 3 right there. And then off the end of it, we've got another nodule, which looks like the beginning of a letter. Either way, it doesn't continue on. If there was a number stamped there, you wouldn't get a nodule here. It would continue on. I think we've got a clear beginning right there and a clear ending right there. And if that's the case, it does make sense. It does line up where the top sticks over the line just a little bit. Okay, so I've also pulled up a 1948. And the first thing we'll notice, again, is that all the numbers, they do line up the same on the top. The 4 and the 8 actually might be a little higher than the 1 and the 9. Okay, but what we're going to notice here is look at the distance to the rim of the coin versus the 3. There's much more room between the 3. So if we take this and we find, there's the edge of our coin. And again, I think it's starting on this knob right there. There's clearly a defined point there in the middle as well. Something like that. It's really hard to tell scale. It's so hard. Here is the rim of the coin right here. Right? We can add on to it right here. Here's the rim. That to me looks like more space there than. So here we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We've got about 6 of these little dots. Six or 7 dots in there. And you got 3 there. So it's about half the space between the 8 versus the 3 to the rim. I don't know, guys. It looks like more space. I know it's a 1943. When I pulled it out of the ground, you could read a 4 and a 3 through the crud. If it was an 8, you would see an 8, or you would see a big glob there, and you wouldn't be able to read it. It would have been a filled-in. It would have been a filled-in globule. You know, something like this, a solid mass, and it wasn't. When we pulled it out of the ground, it was like that. Now it did have a big knob on the end here of the 3. Had a knob on the end of the 3. And that's that chunk right there. That's this chunk. And I think that's what's screwing everyone up, including myself, when I traced these numbers yesterday.
Now, I've also emailed a couple coin rating companies. Here in Canada, we don't have like NGCS or PC, whatever. I forget what the initials are, but we don't have them here in Canada. So I did fire off some emails last night and just waiting to hear back today. What is the process I'm going to pay? I think like looking online, I think it's going to cost me a couple $100 American to send this in and get it tested, but I'm that confident. I am going to pay to have this coin checked out and graded professionally by them.